Part 122. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1211. Fu Nanli was naturally extremely depressed when others said this, but when Wen Qiao said this, he could barely listen. In the past, Dong Chuan didn't need me when recruiting new people. Wen Qiao sat on his lap. Isn't it that your previous deeds were too sensational? Those students at the aerospace university always regard you as their idol. I heard that many airlines have recently gone to the school to recruit new students. Well, with you taking action, Dong Chuan's advantage will be obvious. Without my intervention, the advantage is obvious. Dong Chuan is currently ranked first in the aviation industry. Wen Qiao hugged his neck. I heard that there are many handsome guys at Aerospace University. I want to visit them. Fu Nanli narrowed his eyes. If you say that, do you think I will let you go? Wen Qiao looked at him with a smile. You finally have some humanity. I'm kidding you. The most handsome people are all in my family. Can I still like those ordinary people? Tonight, these three people took turns to fight, which finally made Fu Nanli come out of the gloomy atmosphere a little bit. Finally, he agreed to go to the aerospace university to recruit new people. Fu Nanli had just agreed to go to the aviation university to recruit new students. Over there, Minister Qin of the Ministry of National Security sent a message to Wen Qiao and asked if she was free. In a week, they would go to major computer universities in Haikan to recruit new students. If she was free, have her attend along. Wen Qiao. She replied to Minister Qin, I am just a small consultant of the Ministry of Cybersecurity, and I have not made any contribution to the country recently. How can I participate in recruitment? I don't even know how to recruit new people. Minister Qin said cheerfully, what happens once is familiar again. You will know if you participate a few more times. The superiors value you very much, so if you have time, please be sure to come with us. Minister Qin had already said this, so Wen Qiao could only agree. It was a crisp and sunny day when I went to the aerospace university. Fu Nanli wore the captain's uniform to show dignity, but without a hat. The job fair was held in the school's gymnasium. Today was a special event for Dong Chuan. Many students were eagerly looking forward to it, and many female students dressed up specially. After all, Dong Chuan had announced that Captain Fu would be here today. Fu Nanli's Bentley was parked outside the gymnasium. The students first saw the car door open and a pair of long legs stepping out of the car. Then a tall and handsome man got out of the car. He was tall, long-legged, handsome, and in uniform. Tempting, abstinent and sultry, the female students couldn't help but become excited. Today we are not only recruiting pilots, but also company engineers and other jobs. We are only recruiting 5 places for flight attendants, but all the girls in the flight attendant major are here. The school leaders stepped forward, took Fu Nanli's hand, and said enthusiastically, Mr. Fu's presence is really a blessing. Fu Nanli came here today not just for recruitment. This aerospace university was founded during the Republic of China, and his grandfather graduated from this university. As soon as he waved, Qin Bei came over with a sign, is this Mr. Principal? This is a donation from our young master to your school. The principal was stunned for a moment. He never expected that young Master Fu would come right away and bring such a big gift. The sign read 5 million, and the principal shook Fu Nanli's hand vigorously. On behalf of all the students in the school, I would like to thank Mr. Fu for his kindness. Fu Nanli smiled faintly, set up a scholarship in the name of my grandfather. I will donate to your school every year in the future. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1212. It was such a windfall that the principal smiled so hard that he couldn't even see his eyesight. Okay, Mr. Ye has always been one of the first pilots our school is proud of. The school is still building a statue of Mr. Ye, and there are probably more. It will be completed in more than a month, and Mr. Fu must be present at the completion ceremony. Fu Nanli nodded to show his dignity. Definitely. The news reached the ears of the female students who came for the interview, and the students were immediately excited. A tall, handsome, clean, and self-possessed young man from a top wealthy family, who was full of sophistication, how could he not be attractive? This is. The principal smiled and looked at the girl next to Fu Nanli. She looked young and beautiful. At his age, the principal naturally doesn't read entertainment gossip magazines, so he didn't know that Mr. Fu had such a young and beautiful girlfriend. Is it the secretary? He seemed to be getting a little close to the secretary. Fu Nanli grabbed Wen Qiao's hand and smiled slightly. She's my girlfriend. Wen Qiao held his forehead and told him in the car that this was a serious occasion and there was no need for any physical contact. He originally agreed, but now, the young master is really willful. The principal smiled apologetically. Mr. Fu's girlfriend is really good-tempered and well-spoken. She is such a great couple. Fu Nanli took the next step and put his arms around Wen Qiao's waist, and they entered the gym together. The female students who had been looking forward to Master Fu's arrival were hit hard when they saw the lovable beauty next to Master Fu. Why are you bringing your girlfriend with you to the job fair? There is something like this? Yes, Master Fu is the first. When the female students saw Wen Qiao's appearance, they all looked wilted. After all, they only read entertainment gossip. When they heard that Mr. Fu dotes on his daughter, they sneered, thinking that maybe it was Wen Qiao himself. Speculation is a way of putting money on one's face. But now, they saw two people alive. Young Master Fu's tender eyes made it difficult for them to look away from Wen Qiao's face for a moment. Everyone felt resentful in their hearts and murmured, "Is this so beautiful? As for that, Wen Qiao is really a little vixen. What tricks did she use? I will learn from her when the time comes." The job fair started in 20 minutes. Ji Xianzheng arrived late, walked up to Fu Nanli, and said with a smile, "I just asked you to check, why did you just give the school a big gift? Donate 5 million. Fu Nanli said calmly, "I have to ask you for reimbursement. If you don't let me recruit, I won't be able to spend the 5 million. Ji Xianzheng rolled his eyes at him. "As a businessman, you want me to reimburse you? Although you invested 5 million, it has greatly improved Zhonghuan's reputation. Isn't it good for Dongchuan's reputation?" Ji Xianzheng was afraid of him. Okay, I'll reimburse you, isn't that okay? You seem to be short of these 5 million. The necklace you bought for your little girlfriend is more than this price, okay? The two chatted and laughed for a while, and then the recruitment officially began. Wen Qiao had been sitting next to Fu Nanli, helping him collect resumes and listening to his questions. Those students seemed to admire him very much. They were very nervous when being interviewed by him, spoke cautiously, and seemed to be particularly afraid of touching any interview taboo minefields. Wen Qiao held his chin, a little bored. Originally, the interview for the flight attendant profession should not be left to Fu Nanli. He only interviewed pilots and engineers, but the enthusiasm of the female students was simply unstoppable. What Ji Xianzheng thought, Fu Nanli came, so let's satisfy the female students' desire to get up close and personal with the handsome guy. Please ask for monthly tickets and recommendation tickets. Thank you everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1213. Fu Nanli was really tricked. The first person to sit in front of Fu Nanli was Shi Tianxiu, the school belle of Aerospace University. Shi Tianxiu was well prepared. He was wearing a customized stewardess uniform. He was 168 tall, neither fat nor thin, with a soft face, long hair, and good looks. All excellent. Shi Tianxiu confidently placed his resume in Fu Nanli's hand and introduced himself gracefully. Fu Nanli was business-minded, and since he had done it, he should do it to the best of his ability. By doing it in the end, he had given Ji Xianzheng a lot of face. Wait until the interview is over and then ask him to settle the general ledger. Fu Nanli asked some questions in English, because the flight attendants recruited this time were all flying international flights, and Shi Tianxiu answered them easily. Wen Qiao held his chin and looked attentively. As expected, the students at Aerospace University were all excellent. Fu Nanli capped the pen and said calmly, "Okay, let's wait for the notification from Dongchuan Human Resources Department, the next one." But Shi Tianxiu leaned forward with a charming smile, "Captain Fu, can you give me your mobile phone number?" Wen Qiao was stunned. What happened? Poaching on the girlfriend's boyfriend in front of her? This classmate is really brave. Fu Nanli's eyes were filled with coldness, and he glanced at Shi Tianxiu coldly. No. This Shi school beauty had as many suitors as crucian carp crossing the river at the Aerospace University. She had never met a man who was so indifferent to her, so she became more and more interested and frustrated. She poked her resume with her finger. "Contact information column, this is my phone number. Captain Fu can contact me." After saying that, he stood up, flipped his long hair confidently, and then left the interviewer's long table with 3 shaking steps. Wen Qiao was so angry that he poked Fu Nanli's leg under the table, thinking she was dead. Where does this woman get her confidence? Who gave her the courage? Fu Nanli's big hand wrapped around his small hand, and the corners of his mouth gradually raised. The woman who didn't know whether to live or die really stimulated his Qiao. His Qiao realized later that sometimes she needed a little seasoning. Just think of it as the catalyst between the two of them. The school bell. She saw Fu Nanli's raised lips not far away and couldn't help but feel proud. Her friend said crazily, "Captain Fu smiled. It must be because you took the initiative to ask for your number and made him look at you with admiration. Tianxiu, I think you have great hope." Shi Tianxiu raised his eyebrows. "I think so too. For rich young men from top wealthy families, changing girlfriends is like changing clothes. There are many rich young men in entertainment gossip magazines who often change their girlfriends. Wen Qiao has become famous thanks to Fu Nanli, so it's time for a change. Presumably, that kind of young master has no interest in a submissive little girl, so she took a different approach and was bolder, at least to attract his attention. The job fair will run from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and the first half will end." Originally, Wen Qiao thought that he had worked hard and gave him a shoulder squeeze or something, but when he saw the school beauty classmate waiting not far away, he couldn't help but darken his face and let him go. At noon, the school hosted them and treated them to a meal at a time-honored restaurant outside the school. Wen Qiao didn't even know what method Shi Tianxiu used to get into the dinner party. After asking around for a while, I found out that Shi Tianxiu is the face of the Aerospace University. She has appeared on many college student representative programs. She is also a school beauty and a top student. In fact, she is not a flight attendant, but an aerospace engineer. She has some benefits. She has appeared on intellectual programs and participated in some poetry conferences, all of which achieved high rankings. She participated in the flight attendant interview because she just wanted to fly on the same flight as Mr. Fu and have more opportunities to meet Mr. Fu. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1214. The school attaches great importance to her and is willing to let her attend any important occasions. After all, this girl is beautiful, smart, and has a high emotional intelligence. It would be very respectable for the school to show her. Wen Qiao didn't have any sense of crisis. School beauty? Who is not a school beauty? Good grades. Whose grades are bad again? Ji Xianzheng finally figured out the secret. He learned that the eldest young master was not in a good mood at the job fair just now, and all thanks to this overly proactive campus beauty, so he asked, "I heard that classmate Shi Tianxiu is the campus beauty of your school." Shi Tianxiu smiled slightly, "It's what the students choose to play with." Ji Xianzheng added, "What a coincidence, our Xiao Wen is also the school beauty of Yanjian, and he plays the pipa very beautifully. He just won the gold medal of the Lily Award before. I don't know if you have heard of the Lily Award, which is the authoritative award for domestic classical music. In addition, he is very talented and can compose music. There is a very popular star named Shang Fan. As you know, many of Shang Fan's songs were composed by Xiao Wen. She also. Brother Xianzheng, eat food, eat food." Listening to Ji Xianzhen's endless list of her advantages, Wen Qiao felt ashamed. Fu Nanli didn't stop and even listened with great interest. If Wen Qiao didn't stop, tonight's lunch would become Wen Qiao's special event. Isn't this taking the spotlight away from the guest? Fu Nanli rubbed Wen Qiao's hair lovingly and said to everyone at the table, "Xiaonazai is young and shy easily." With this doting tone, everyone knew that the young master really doted on this girl. Shi Tianxiu's expression changed. It seemed that this young master was not that easy to conquer. It's okay, she doesn't like it because it's too easy to get. Wen Qiao sat on the right side of Fu Nanli, and Ji Xianzheng sat on the left side of Fu Nanli. The private room was very large. During this period, Ji Xianzheng was called aside by the dean of the school to chat. Fu Nanli talked to Wen Qiao. When he turned around again, someone was sitting next to him. Shi Tianxiu took a seat. She is very good at finding every opportunity. Wen Qiao chuckled. Female college students nowadays are very confident. Shi Tianxiu held a glass of red wine and wanted to toast Fu Nanli. "Mr. Fu, thank you for donating to our alma mater and establishing a scholarship." This was said in a high-sounding way, leaving no room for rejection. But did he get a student to toast him with this cup of thank you wine? It would be better to do it for you. Wen Qiao was not annoyed, and just looked at Fu Nanli quietly to see how he would reply to the girl. Fu Nanli held Wen Qiao's hand, glanced at Shi Tianxiu coldly, and lightly opened his thin lips. "My girlfriend won't let me drink." Wen Qiao really never expected that Fu Nanli would say this. Shi Tianxiu's face darkened. This Wen Qiao was a real rival, but she would not be discouraged. She took a sip of wine and smiled slightly. "I'll drink it, you can do whatever you want." After saying that, he stood up and left Fu Nanli with the cup in hand. Wen Qiao raised his eyebrows. This girl has something good. She is indeed someone the school is willing to support. The meal is finally over. The recruitment continued in the afternoon. Fu Nanli gave Ji Xianzheng a lot of face and stayed throughout the entire process. It was not until 4 o'clock in the afternoon that he got into the car with the school's farewell. Of course, the one at the head of the farewell procession was still the swaggering school beauty. Fu Nanli personally opened the car door for Wen Qiao, put his hand on her head, and walked her into the car. Then he lowered himself into the car. With the window half opened, Mr. Fu didn't even say goodbye to the school leaders. He walked to Wen Qiao and coaxed softly, "Are you angry? Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1215. Everyone standing outside the car heard it clearly. The gentle, lingering coaxing voice was quite condescending. "I never expected that the eldest young master could be so humble and petty when it comes to love." Shi Tianxiu's face stiffened for a moment, and then he thought, since Wen Qiao can do it, so can she. She is no worse than Wen Qiao. When Master Fu gets tired of that one, she will be the one to take over. The car slowly drove away from the gymnasium of Aerospace University. Wen Qiao saw the school bell fading away in the rearview mirror and glanced at Fu Nanli. How could I be angry? Mr. Fu is so popular, it means you are excellent. Fu Nanli pressed his temple. I'll settle the score with Ji Xianzheng later. In short, he will never participate in any job fairs in the future. He will not wade into this kind of muddy water. Today, it is really hard to give up money and efforts. Xiaonazai is angry and doesn't know how to coax her back. Fu Nanli took Wen Qiao to Yanjian University. Wen Qiao got out of the car at the back door of the school without any delay. As soon as she got off the car and walked a few steps, she met a boy holding flowers to give to her. Wen Qiao was stunned. This scene looked like she was jealous of Fu Nanli, and then carefully arranged such a scene to take revenge on Fu Nanli. She swore that this person was really not arranged by her. Sure enough, Fu Nanli's face was ashen in the car. He just sat in the car without getting out of the car. He even asked Lao Hu to drive the car forward and parked next to Wen Qiao and the boy holding flowers. Looking at it this way, the boy is quite handsome, slightly taller than Wen Qiao, and has a nervous look on his face. Fu Nanli looked at Wen Qiao playfully. Wen Qiao knew that there were many suitors for her in school and even in the entire university town, and she didn't want to say it too harshly. After all, there was nothing wrong with liking someone. She whispered, "You should know that I have a boyfriend, right?" The boy muttered, "They all say that you and him are not suitable for each other." Although the voice was not loud, it still reached Fu Nanli's ears impartially. Veins jumped on his forehead, his face was gloomy, and his whole body exuded the cold air of the coming winter. The temperature in the car suddenly dropped several times, and Qin Bei in the front row felt a chill on the back of his head. Wen Qiapai smiled but said, "What's inappropriate? We think he is older. He is 9 years older than you. When you are 30, he will be 40. When a man reaches 40, he has no energy. It is better to find a partner of the same age." Young Master Fu's face turned a little darker. Qin Bei felt that this boy was really good at adding fuel to the fire and adding salt to the wound. There was a high probability that he was already on the young master's assassination list. Wen Qiao said quickly, "I like people who are older than me and can care for others. Besides, my boyfriend pays great attention to exercise. He has a much better figure than you and has very strong physical strength." As she talked, she felt something was wrong. What was she talking about? "I always feel like I'm driving in front of outsiders." Fu Nanli finally couldn't help but get out of the car. He is 188, and the most boys are 176, which is really miserable. Moreover, Fu Nanli is not only tall, but also has wide shoulders and narrow waist. He has a standard inverted triangle figure, long and straight legs, and his shirt is specially designed for him. Pulling it up, the lines of the forearm are smooth and graceful, and the sexual tension is bursting. That he is older? How could Mr. Fu endure it when he said he was physically weak? Fu Nanli grabbed Wen Qiao's waist, took him into his arms, and looked down at the boy who boldly confessed his love. "You want to chase my girlfriend, have you asked me what I mean?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1216. The boy was startled. He was originally dissing young Master Fu, but young Master Fu actually stood in front of him, but he got cold feet and was quickly defeated. In order to prevent future love affairs, Wen Qiao could only show affection to Fu Nanli in the street. She leaned in Fu Nanli's arms like a bird and said, "I already have a husband and a successful career, so don't bother me." The boy ran away in panic. Wen Qiao was dragged into the car by Fu Nanli. Wen Qiao immediately stepped aside. Fu Nanli grabbed her wrist with his big hand and pulled her into his arms again. He said with a half smile, "Already have a husband? A successful career, I am your husband." It's just for rhyme, and when people are in love nowadays, don't they all call their boyfriends their husbands? You're just joking, don't take it seriously. Fu Nanli bent down to kiss her, and said tenderly, "It's even, huh?" Wen Qiao stretched out his hand to push him, "Is this considered even?" Fu Nanli whispered in her ear, "I am very satisfied with my physical strength. Let's go to my place." Wen Qiao was captured by Master Fu. After that, Fu Nanli appeared in Wen Qiao's school several times in a very high-profile manner, so that all the boys in the university town who admired Wen Qiao knew that Wen Qiao and this young man were more in love than Jin Jian, and they might not be able to attack or defend easily, so you can temporarily cease your activities and wait for the opportunity. Late at night, on the big bed, Fu Nanli held the person in his arms and breathed softly. Wen Qiao brought up other topics without revisiting him. The third subject is in Heiken. Huh, Fu Nanli didn't react for a moment. The third person with the same blood type as me is in Heiken. She is a female star. I checked and found out that she happened to be filming a movie in Heiken. It will take 4 months to film before it starts filming, so I have plenty of time. Fu Nanli stroked her back gently and said in a hoarse voice, "Well, that's good." Wen Qiao clicked his tongue, "Speaking of which, I'm a little angry." "What's wrong?" "I originally wanted Dong Yao to take part in this drama, but Jun Ling actually got it. The resources for this drama are quite good. Jun Ling has been prospering since he signed Hui He. His Hui has something good. Do you need me to come forward?" Wen Qiao shook his head and murmured, "Forget it, you don't need to come forward, I don't want to be your daughter." The next day, Wen Qiao went to the company. Dong Yao had just finished filming a movie and said he wanted to talk to her about something. In the office, Dong Yao said straight to the point, "I want to quit the entertainment industry." The coffee cup in Lu Yuyu's hand fell to the ground. She rushed to Dong Yao and grabbed his hand, "Isn't it because Jun Ling got the Tianshan drama that you are discouraged? Don't be discouraged. We will reselect a drama that is particularly suitable for you, and it is also with a military theme, and we are in the process of contacting it." Dong Yao looked at her with a speechless expression, "Do you think I am shocked that I want to quit the entertainment industry? Lu Yuyu, isn't it?" Dong Yao clicked his tongue, "No, you and Wen Qiao let me enter the entertainment industry. This is not my hobby. Now the company has started to grow. Lu Su, Zhou Tao, Tongwei, and Fang Duo are all on the front line. I think I can retire with success." Wen Qiao took a sip of coffee, "You don't like acting, do you?" "I still prefer anatomy and studying medicine. Maybe I will become a forensic doctor after graduation." Lu Yuyu was unwilling to give in. Being a forensic doctor, wearing a mask all day long, and having to deal with corpses will bury your face. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1217. Dong Yao narrowed his eyes. Wen Qiao said, "Okay, I understand. I agree with you to quit the entertainment industry, but can you give me 2 months? I have to find someone to fill your vacancy, otherwise our company will be in decline." Dong Yao nodded, "Okay, don't worry, I will quit whenever you find someone to support me." Lu Yuyu was pulled out by Dong Yao and entered the office next door. Dong Yao sat on the sofa like an uncle and squinted at Lu Yuyu, "Do you disagree?" Lu Yuyu held her chin with both hands in distress, "Forget it, I have nothing to disagree with. Your own preferences are the most important. I can't force you to do things you don't like." Although she really hopes that Dong Yao can climb to a higher position in the entertainment industry, It seems unfair to him to impose her preferences on him. Dong Yao raised his eyebrows. It's best if you think so. Lu Yuyu stamped her feet irritably. Junling is just cheap. I think that TV series will be good. It is a spy movie. The director and screenwriter are both good. The quality of the film will definitely be good. Dong Yao smiled. There are endless TV series in this industry, and I think Junling is indeed suitable for that TV series. Lu Yuyu said regretfully, did you have the intention to quit a long time ago, so you didn't seriously fight with Junling? Dong Yao, no, maybe the management thinks Junling is more suitable. Lu Yuyu said bitterly, it's a benefit to Huihe Company. You said that Junling is really true. He used to pretend to pursue Zhou Tao, but now he's gone. He competed with our company's artists for resources. Fortunately, Zhou Tao saw through it in time. His true colors are revealed. No one is better than him anyway. Song Yuchen or Lu Wenzhou are better than him. He is just a scheming man. Dong Yao held the coffee cup and looked at her. You can help Wen Qiao look for male stars in the industry. If I find the right one, I will quit the entertainment industry and focus on my own career. Lu Yuyu said sadly, how can we find your replacement so easily? Your appearance and temperament are both very special. Forget it, just take your time to find one. Wen Qiao planned to go to the Tianshan crew in 2 days. After leaving the company, he first went to Fu Nanli. Fu Nanli was answering the phone. It seemed that the call was from Ji Xianzheng. Whatever you want, but don't put him on my crew, otherwise Captain Fu will resign. Over there, Ji Xianzheng smiled and said, I'm really scared of you, Captain Fu. You're in the captain's cabin, and you only fly once a month. Even if I recruit a flight attendant and put it on your crew, you won't lose anything. Fu Nanli reached out and unbuttoned the collar of his shirt. Ji Xianzheng, are you full? You, the dignified president of Dongchuan, need to make arrangements for you to recruit a flight attendant yourself. Isn't that what the school means? That Shi Tianxiu probably has some connections behind his back. The principal personally greeted me and wanted to join your crew. We have always had a very friendly relationship with the Aerospace University. I still have to give him this face. You can arrange whatever you want, but don't cause trouble for me. You know, Zhonghuan is enough for me now. You made me unhappy. I resigned from the science major. Ji Xianzheng compromised. Okay, let's arrange for Su Shen's crew to fly to Munich, okay. Whatever. After saying that, he turned off the phone and turned around to see Wen Qiao standing by the door. Wen Qiao squinted at him, that beauty from Aerospace University. Fu Nanli raised his eyebrows, yes. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1218. You're so proud that you can actually let Xianzheng make arrangements. Do you want to be included in your crew? Fu Nanli felt a headache. I rejected you. Wen Qiao said deliberately, why refuse? With beautiful women on the crew, the work is not so boring. As soon as he finished speaking, the man pulled him into his arms, and Wen Qiao fell on his lap. Wen Qiao, are you talking to me again? Wen Qiao looked at him innocently, am I not telling the truth? If Miss Wen is willing to work in my crew, I might consider it. Wen Qiao put her arms around his neck, Ms. Wen, joining your crew as a flight attendant, will it be a bit overkill? I'll give you a high salary. If you work as my stewardess for a year, I can make you rise to the top 100 on the wealth list. This is very exciting. After all, she had promised Mr. Fu before that she would enter the top 10 on the wealth list. Your grandpa knows you are throwing away money like this, wouldn't he be so angry? Ms. Wen, think about it, you can fly once a month. The money is quite easy to earn, and it's earned through your own labor. No one can say anything, right? Wen Qiao pursed his lips, then I will seriously consider it. 2 days later, Wen Qiao went to Haikan University of Information Engineering for recruitment, and she was joined by Director Qin of the Ministry of Cybersecurity and other senior officials from the Ministry of Cybersecurity. She entered the gymnasium and went there to blend in with the college students. After all, she was also a senior. Because it was a recruitment by the Cybersecurity Department, almost all the graduating senior students came, and there were also students from other grades who came to gain experience. The gymnasium of the University of Information Engineering was not big, but it was crowded and packed. Wen Qiao, seeing that the recruitment booth is at the front, I just can't get past it. Sorry, let me pass. Several girls glanced at her and said rudely, why are you squeezing? Can you please queue up? Wen Qiao and the school bell had a conflict of fate. One of the 3 girls who was crowding to prevent her from moving forward was Zhang Min, the campus belle of the University of Information Engineering. When Zhang Min saw Wen Qiao, a sense of crisis flashed in her eyes. Why didn't she know that there was a more beautiful girl than her in the Information Engineering department? Beautiful women always dislike beautiful women. When Zhang Min saw this girl squeezing forward, she felt a little angry. She thought that because of her beauty, she would not have to queue up. There are really enough people who use beauty to do evil. Wen Qiao said helplessly, I'm not here for an interview, I'm the interviewer. Can you just let me go? The 3 girls all laughed out loud. Zhang Min looked at her like she was a fool. Interviewer? Your excuse is quite unique. Wen Qiao's brows twitched. Why didn't he believe her? It's true that she doesn't look like the interviewer. She is the same age as them and so beautiful. The Ministry of Cybersecurity, that is the National Network Security Department, is the country's highest administrative unit for the Internet, and is the national unit that students studying computer information engineering most want to enter. Only a fool would believe a young and beautiful female college student as an interviewer, right? Wen Qiao raised his forehead and said, please give in. As she spoke, her cell phone rang, and the note on it was Minister Qin. Wen Qiao stretched out the phone in front of Zhang Min. You should know that the one who came here today is Minister Qin from the Internet Security Department. He called me. He's over there. It must be impatient. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1219. The 2 female attendants next to Zhang Min sneered and pushed her. You are quite well prepared, you. Interviewer. You can wait until you have fun. Start queuing from the back. Don't lose yourself with such lack of quality. Is it okay to have a big face? Wen Qiao felt a headache. Why were these girls so difficult to deal with? She had promised Minister Qin that she would come for an interview. They were so close, but they seemed to be separated by the Milky Way. There's no way, she can't hit a girl, can she? He could only answer the call from Minister Qin and whispered, I am about 50 meters away from the booth. Directly in front, there are too many people. Minister Qin, I can't get through. Xiao Wen, wait a moment, I'll pick you up. Okay. After hanging up the phone, she was greeted by the mocking faces of the 3 girls. It's really awesome to do all the tricks. Wen Qiao was too lazy to talk to them. About 5 minutes later, Minister Qin and the senior officials of the Internet Security Department crowded around Wen Qiao. They all had work badges from the Internet Security Department on their chests, and Minister Qin was so famous that the principal personally greeted him at the school gate. Zhang Min and the other 2 girls naturally recognized him. Minister Qin looked at Wen Qiao with a smile. Xiao Wen, I said early in the morning that I would pick you up, but you have to come by yourself. The three girls were all stunned when they saw Minister Qin talking to Wen Qiao like this. This girl didn't brag. Is she really the interviewer? How can this be? Wen Qiao glanced at the three stunned girls and smiled slightly. Can you let me pass now? The three girls immediately stepped aside and bowed nervously. Please. Wen Qiao chuckled and followed Minister Qin to the recruitment booth without any hindrance. When we arrived at the booth, we saw another uninvited guest. Yao Heng. She almost forgot that Yao Heng also worked in the cybersecurity department, but he came to the job fair to work as an assistant sorting out information. After all, he was a low-level staff member in the cybersecurity department. It's not the same as a specially hired technical consultant like Wen Qiao. Minister Qin personally greeted him and led Wen Qiao to sit in the main interviewer's seat. Yao Heng glared at Wen Qiao with hatred. He could only sort out the information, but Wen Qiao could sit firmly in the interviewer's seat as the examiner. This gap made him resentful but helpless. Who told him to be inferior to others? Minister Qin asked Wen Qiao to focus on interviewing engineering and technical personnel. She is very authoritative in this area. The people she approves basically have no big problems. Since Wen Qiao agreed to come, he would definitely work hard and contribute to recruiting troops for the cybersecurity department. The interview didn't go so well because the students who were interviewing in front of her booth were extremely shy when they saw her appearance. They all stuttered and couldn't say a word for a long time. Tell me about your advantages. Wen Qiao glanced at the boy wearing glasses sitting in front of him and asked a question. The boy's face suddenly turned red. Wen Qiao was helpless. Isn't this a normal interview question? Why are you blushing, brother, why are you blushing? The boy murmured, my advantage is, I am good at playing basketball. Wen Qiao. Brother, you are interviewing for a computer engineer. You said you are good at basketball? Do you think this is appropriate? Do you have interview experience? Okay, so even if you have good physical strength, work does require a good physical condition. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 1220. Then let's talk about your shortcomings. Wen Qiao continued to ask business-likely. The boy's face turned redder. Wen Qiao frowned slightly. Brother, please speak up. I have no shortcomings. Wen Qiao. Do you think your words are convincing? Forget it. After interviewing dozens of boys, Wen Qiao gradually became angry. The 28th boy said that his strengths were that he was good at coaxing people and he also liked doing housework. It was as if he was participating in a blind date conference, and Wen Qiao became completely angry. He patted the table and said, speak carefully. The boy looked at Wen Qiao a little aggrievedly and shook his head. Minister Qin on the side smiled. Xiao Wen, calm down. Wen Qiao pressed his swollen temples and gritted his teeth and said, in your professional field, talk about your strengths and weaknesses, and whether you have to do housework or not, just pass. Boys can only start talking about professional matters cautiously. The next one was the school beauty Zhang Min, who had stopped her from moving forward. Zhang Minqing was frightened, trembling, and puzzled that this girl was really the interviewer. How did she get into the cybersecurity department? Later, she heard from a classmate that she was Fu Nanli's girlfriend, and she suddenly recognized that Wen Qiao was the famous composer Mu Yu. She had been on several hot searches, but almost no photos had been published. It seemed that Master Fu protected her very well. Now that she thinks about it, Fu Nanli must have opened the back door for her. What should she be proud of? But no matter how dissatisfied she was in her heart, she still had to be respectful to the interviewer on the surface. After all, Wen Qiao decided her fate. Wen Qiao took Zhang Min's resume and glanced up and down. Zhang Min was so arrogant just now, but now he is so cowardly. Hello, My name is Zhang Min. I am a fourth-year information student majoring in wireless transmission and monitoring. Zhang Min introduced herself eloquently, and Wen Qiao looked through her resume. She had quite a lot of experience and had won many awards. Of course she wouldn't publicly avenge her because she had screened out this girl during the festival just now, but she still asked some questions objectively. She felt objective, but that didn't mean that the other party also felt objective. Because Zhang Min had a guilty conscience, she always felt that Wen Qiao was targeting her, and her face looked a little ugly. Finally, when the interview was over, Wen Qiao said to each student, waiting for the notice from the Human Resources Department of the Cybersecurity Bureau. But classmate Zhang Min was probably used to being outstanding in school, so she felt that Wen Qiao should make a decision on the spot to let her join the Cybersecurity Bureau after the interview. Did I fail the interview? Zhang Min asked Wen Qiao on the spot. Wen Qiao frowned. I didn't say you failed. I asked you to wait for the notice from the Internet Security Bureau. We will go back to have a meeting to discuss whether you pass the interview. Zhang Min glanced at Wen Qiao. Are you biased against me because of what happened just now? I didn't know you were really the interviewer. You can't implicate me for such a trivial matter. Wen Qiao's face darkened. This classmate, please don't judge a gentleman with a villain's heart. I don't have that idea. I give the same answer to every classmate. When you are notified, you must really. It's unreasonable. Then let's argue with Minister Qin. I'm very busy and don't have time to argue with you. Next one. Zhang Min was scolded in public, her eyes were red, and she walked aside with her document bag, feeling very depressed. That Wen Qiao was really arrogant, just relying on the Fu family consortium.